Okay. No, I'm not gonna say okay. I am Jenn and I am a world travel life coach. And in every country I've ever been in, the staple of all the foods is their bread. And as I go to these different countries, I love to learn how to make their basic stuff. I don't have time to get into all the special logistics of their ethnic foods, but I always like to learn how to make the bread of that country. So when I go to India, I'm gonna make naan. And today, since I'm doing Central America this year, I'm gonna show you guys how to make tortillas, the El Salvador way. So, first of all, technically you can make tortillas from wheat flour or from corn flour. But almost all of Central America, corn flour is preferred instead of wheat flour. In fact, when they make tortillas from wheat flour and they use those tortillas, usually they call whatever they make, it's a gringo. So if it's a taco, it's like gringo tacos, because they use wheat flour, and wheat flour is pretty much what all Americans use, is prevalent in American culture. And gringos are meant to be whiteys or people from America, or it can be Europe too. But either way, so we're using corn flour today. And what you do is you put in some corn flour. I have yet to see anyone in a Central American country actually use measuring cups or measuring spoons. Just saying. So you take this, you pour in a little bit of your water, and with your hand you start incorporating the water in to the flour to make the masa, it's called, or in other words, the dough. And you keep incorporating, and you're adding a little bit of flour as you go until it has the right consistency. And the right consistency is nothing, it's a dough that almost sticks to your hand, but not quite, and that there's no powder whatsoever. So I'm gonna work on this. Now here, in most of Central America, all they do is, it's literally just water and flour. But, I like to put a little bit extra stuff in, just because they're mine. I like to put some salt in. And I like to put some garlic powder in. So you're gonna get my version of gringo tortillas. So, you know that the masa is ready when it's pretty much ready. It's about at this consistency where, if you can see, there's no flour, there's no polvo, okay? And not only is there no flour, it doesn't stick to my hand. If it's sticking to your hand, that means you got too much water and you have to add some more flour in there to soak it up. But this right here, this is good masa. I mean, you're gonna have little remnants, but I mean, you can like flick them off, and that's not a big thing. Okay, so first thing you do is you take a little ball. And of course, this depends on how big you want to make the tortilla. But I like to make the little ball just about, it's a little big, about the size of a fistful, right here. Once you have the ball going just around the circle of your hand, start flattening it out a little bit. Then you can take it and you go around the edges. You turn it and go around the edges in order to help it take shape and take a form into a circle, okay? Once you've got a nice edge, then you can start slapping it back and forth. Now, this looks like I'm just slapping it back and forth, but there's actually technique. So you're gonna put it like this. You're actually doing a little bit of a quarter turn. I slap it to kind of flatten it. And then when I turn it back here, when I flip it over, I'm doing a quarter turn. So before, you can see my fingers were here, now my fingers are gonna be here. So So I slap it, whoop, then I'm doing a quarter turn again. And that's how I make sure that it's spread evenly all the way around. Pretty cool, huh? Now, it's important that the griddle is already hot. You can't put it on and then heat up your griddle because then it'll stick. So I've got my greased griddle right here. My fuego's underneath going nice and strong. I take it and I flip it like that. The first time that I made tortillas, I tried to do it. I was living in a farmhouse, and the homeschooling that my kids and I were doing, we literally could not buy anything other, we were homesteading. So that meant we were living off of what we produced on our farm, and I could only buy one ingredient items from the store. So we tried to make tortillas because I was doing good at making just about anything about that time. I got one of those, in Mexico, it's a tortilla iron. So it's a big iron circle, and you put like plastic down, and then you take your ball, and you put the ball on the plastic, and you put another piece of plastic on top, and then you take the top of the iron, and you fold it down, and then you push. And this would spread the tortilla out, theoretically. And then you're supposed to take the plastic off, and then go put it on your griddle. Now here's a big difference, you'll find out. In El Salvador, their tortillas are thicker. In Mexico, you gotta use an iron because their tortillas are much, much thinner than tortillas further south, you could say. So I never mastered that iron. I hated it. My masa was always sticking to the plastic, or it wouldn't like smash right. It'd be really thin on one end and then like not. And then not so thick on the other end. So here we go. Once you know when to flip it by looking around the edge. When the edge is starting to look kind of like pancakes, when the edge is starting to look kind of dry, it's not wet anymore, it's dried out, and sometimes a few little cracks kind of appear in the masa, that's when you know she's ready to go. So you put it on the side, you go nice and fast, just like pancake, and voila. Now that our first tortillas are done, we're gonna take them off. And this is something interesting that is definitely a cultural thing. Again, in Mexico, I don't wanna lose you, don't run away. In Mexico, they have like these little special tortilla dishes that they put them in. But in more south than Mexico, for these kind of tortillas, they usually put them in a dish towel, and then they just wrap them up and keep them covered. So no flies get on them, and they stay nice and calentita while you are busy making the rest. And I made one big one, just for the heck of it. See, this one's nice and good. They're done when they look like this. When they have a little bit of brown tips. A little bit of brown tips. That means they are done. These two are done. My big one's not quite done yet. And then I go back. I put them in my tortilla blanket, and we're good to go. And now I've got to make the rest of the food. But I'm Jenn Set. Travel more, live more, and be more. And subscribe if you want to see more crazy cultural adventures around the world.